afternoon, friends. I'm Dr. Aashish Phadke from Mumbai. Uh, Coming down to now main topic. These definitions we are all aware of. What is Ayurveda, Hitahitam, Sukham, Dukkham. Now I want to take your attention to these two terms, Hita, Ahita, Sukha and Dukkha. Now Hita, Ahita could be with reference to your physical aspect, but Sukha, Dukkha is a very typical to your mind. Mano Anukula Vedaniya Janyam Sukham and Mano Pratikula Vedaniya Janyam Dukkham. So that itself is also speaking indirectly or directly about the role and the importance of mind and the mental health in the canvas of Ayurveda, right? And manam cha taccha yatra uktam Ayurveda sauchyate. So hitahitam sukham dukkham ayuhu. So some people, rather everyone, we are aware hitayu and ahitayu, sukhayu and dukhayu. With reference to whom? So with reference to Ayush, with reference to life. And Hitahitam, Kasya Hitahitam, Ayushasya Hitahitam. And Manamcha means it is with specific measure. One of the interpretation is it is with specific measure. It is not said arbitrarily. So you take particular rasa aushadhi or you take particular ahar, then they have given specific man and they have said matra shisyat in Charaka. So if you want to take even ahar, then it has to be with specific reference to your Agni Bala. And then only you take your ahar or vihar or anything, vyayam and anything about it. So that is what is Ayurveda is. Then the another very important concept is Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma, Sanyogo, Dhari, Jivitam. So when you speak about Ayu, it is the conglomeration or the composition or the combination of Sharira, then Indriya and Sattva, that is mind again, and Atma, that is soul. So once you take consideration of all these, then what is happening is your Ayush or Ayu. And when we work on this Ayu, for Ayu, and on that patient, which is considered to be Chikitsya Purush in Ayurveda. And Chikitsya Purush is not, again, they have discussed various ways, but one of the definition I remember, which we all have learned in our first year, and that is Shashta Dhatava Purusha Smrita. So Shashta Dhatava means your Panchama Bhut, and the sixth principle is your Atma Tattva. And with that Chetana Tattva, whomever is there, that is Chikitsya Purush, on that to whom we are treating with. So again over there, you have to think about mind and spirit apart from the physical aspects. Okay. Then Vayu Pitta Kafaschokta Shariro Dosha Sangra Manasa Punaruddishto Rajascha Tamayocha. So these first line denotes the Sharir dosh, that is Vata Pitta Kapha. We are not going to discuss what Vata Pitta Kapha is, because this is all audience is all learned and scholastic scholars, Ayurvedic scholars basically. And the Manas dosha, so Mana has got equivalent term Sattva. Okay, in Ayurveda, Sattva is equated with Manas. But that Manas has got doshas. And what are those two doshas? Raja and Tamas. So whenever Rajas and Tamas goes up, then the problem starts, and you have to work on them to make it into equilibrium, like how we try to do the homeostasis of Samadosha, Samagnisha, Samadhatu, Malakriya, Prasanna, Atma, Indriya, Mana. So even Mana is very specific, and we require to pay attention towards it before we actually go ahead. And this is what is the pictorial depiction. I'll not get into this. First, upper one is physical, then down one is mental and spiritual and social and all that. And it is exactly the same what has been specified by WHO definition. And nowadays, even WHO definition also speaks about spiritual part, though it is not reflected in website, but it has been mentioned that it has been amended by Dr. Bhattacharya from West Bengal. Anyway, coming down to another important aspect of Jnanopalabdhi, which we have studied in Padarthavijnanam, whatever we have studied in first year and also in final year. So how it is happening? So Atma Manasa Sanyuta Mano Indriyani Tad Vishayam Tad Artham Tad Jnanam. So basically there is a linkage between Atma, Man, Indriya Artha, that is Vishaya, and then when it goes back to same way, and then you get what is Jnanopalabdhi or Jnanam, Tad Jnanam. And that is what is also mentioned by Chakrapani Datta in his commentary. Okay, now anything is not playing well in this linkage, whether Manasa is not at right way, then everything is fine. The Indriyas are normal, the Vishayas are there out in the outer world, but you will not be able to perceive them as it is. And then there is a problem of Manas Vyadhi, or there is a problem with your Manas Swasthya. Okay, then there is another very important thing which we require to know, that what are the functions manas plays or mind plays. So indriya vigraha karma manasa swasya nigraha uho vicharascha tata param buddhi pravartate. So this is again going to be important with our next discussion of sattva vaje. So we are going to discuss this. So indriya vigraha is which denotes control over one's jnanendriyas or sensory organs, that is all eyes and nose, and we all know that, and also karmendriyas. So it is ubhayatmak indriya. Manas is considered to be ubhayatmak indriya according to Samkhya, according to yoga, and also in Ayurveda we have accepted as it is that manas is a ubhayatmak indriya. Then swasya nigra, having control or activity of mind itself, or begins self-restraint, means swasya nigra. Now this is something is also been discussed in a great details by Patanjali Muni, and yoga has chitta vrittir nirodha, that is what the definition says over there. Uya, but then the meaning over there is much different. We'll not get into that, but it is parallel. At least we can understand on that grounds. Then uya is the ability to analyze or being able to speculate, either way. Okay, and vicharashcha, thinking, decision making, or having controlled thought process, that is what is vichara. And buddhi is again very specifically mentioned by Ayurveda and by other darshanas as well. And one of the definition of buddhi says satu nishchayatmika buddhi, that the one which decides whether to do this or do that, or whether to do or not to do. So the satu nishchayatmika buddhi. So that is what is buddhi is. So these things were discussed in Ayurveda from the beginning. The various clinical examinations, when we try to see in clinical practice, that is Trivida Pariksha, then Ashtavida Pariksha, then Dashavida Pariksha, and Nidana Panchaka, and also and so. So that is all also important in mental health. But apart from these, of course, Trivida Pariksha, in particularly Prashna Pariksha, is very particular and very trivial. Even Darshan Pariksha, the moment the patient sits, the moment he is giving or not giving eye to eye contact, the moment his posture, how he is sitting, whether he is confidently sitting or drooping down and looking down, or kind of way, how he is speaking, all that is also relevant. But apart from that, what is very specifically spoken for Manas Pariksha in Charaka description, it is like this: Vijnana by Vyavasaya. Vyavasaya means here not profession, because many times we try to commit mistake in translating the Sanskrit term in contemporary way. So it should not be done that way. We need to understand what is the reference point, and accordingly. Here it is Vyavasaya means purposeful nature of that action. Vijnana means understanding. Vijnana is understanding about oneself. Okay, Dhairya is a courage. Then Avishada is a fortitude. Then the Rajas, that is passion, having affinity. Then Sangha, that is strength of attachment, that is Sangha. Then Preeti, that is pleasure. Okay, Tosha, that is sense of satisfaction. Then Shoka, that is grief. Okay, then Dainya, that is helplessness or kind of frustration. Bhaya, that is fear. And Vishada, that is anguish. And likewise, we can go ahead with some of the terms. This particular part I liked very much. I have taken it from Professor Dr. R.H. Singh sir from BHU, and he has given some deliberations at one of the meetings particularly on mental disorders in Ayurveda. So the way he has tried to explain, if we can explain this to our students and we apply it in OPD basis, and which I do after getting into this particular area a little more keenly, I am using this kind of information, and I wish that all of our other colleagues will also be also using it. But it will be really great. Now this is another chart. I'm not going to read completely. You can just go through that. Manas Vikara, that is neurosis, then Nanatmaja Manas Vikara, then Ubhayatmaka Manas Vikara, psychosomatic, and how we can correlate, for example, uh, jealousy and fear and anxiety and so many things which we otherwise read in our psychiatry texts, and all those have been very classically mentioned with the reference Charak Sutra 20 by Dr. Raju and team, and it has been also published. I have given the reference also, so those who are really keen in reading the entire paper can go ahead and just do the needful. But it is wonderful paper, and such kind of work with those people, those who have taken with great efforts, I think that really is a need for an hour, and we should all able to at least get sensitized ourselves and utilize it in a clinical practice. So something similar, the same team has worked on the levels of the adjectives describing the interactions of doshas and gunas. Now gunas means here they are trying to speak and discuss about three gunas, that is sattva, raja, tama. And when it is pertaining to vata, pitta and kapha, then if it is vata, then how sattva will be like enthusiastic, inspired and artistic and healer. And in kapha it is unconditional, loving, faithful, nurturing, then compassionate and patient. And whereas in tamas you can see it is self-destructive, addictive, then secretive, and all that. And here it is in kapha, it is lethargic, then apathic, dull, depressed, all that kind of stuff. And this has been mentioned by Dr. Mark Harpan in his famous text of Principles of Ayurvedic Medicine, Volume 2. So, not that we should able to read only and only from our classical text, but also we should able to adopt and accept the interpretation which has been given by modern rishis. I call all these people as modern rishis because they have given thought and they have tried to synthesize. They have read one particular thesis, they have read antithesis from some other disciplines, and they are trying to couple them and try to give us something more constructive, something more different. Yes, sometimes we do agree with whatever they have mentioned, sometimes we do have disagreement, but it's okay. But it is better to go through and read and develop our own interest and our own information on this.